Hi, everybody. It's Megan here, the faithful fibromyalgia warrior, as you can see. I hope you're all doing well. It is a beautiful Saturday here in Colchester. What is it? Today is May the 11th, and it's about 21 degrees out. Just finished walking the dogs for a couple miles, and so you will probably hear my spaniel Birdie panting in the background. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to just start by thanking all of you for everyone who has watched the video of the interview I did with Carnivore today. I think it's up to like 70,000 views right now, which is crazy to me. And who has subscribed to this channel, who has liked, who has shared commentary, who has shared their stories. Thank you, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. It means so much to me. So today I was inspired to speak on the topic about this because there's this whole movement of being body positive and self-love, the self-love club, and all this sort of thing. And I know that when it first came out, a lot of it was coming out of the pandemic, when people were starting to really struggle with anxiety and depression, and other mental health issues were becoming more noticeable when we were all locked away in our houses and we couldn't be with each other. And I think in a way it was a really good movement about loving yourself, love each other, but love yourself. You have to love yourself. And I agree. Okay. We do have to love ourselves. I thought that loving myself, regardless of where I was in my health status or journey, meant I had to accept and even tolerate all the things I was dealing with. In order to love myself, I had to tolerate the fact that I was overweight, that I had severe brain fog and inflammation and pain and IBS and fibro pain and all these other things going on. I had anxiety and depression, and bulimia was causing a massive spiral of emotions throughout me. But I thought that what it meant to love myself at that point meant I had to accept all of it. That somehow if I wanted better, if I wanted to improve, if I wanted to get healthier, lose weight, that somehow I didn't love myself enough, is what I thought. And I guess what I wanted to share today was just I've learned that, in fact, that's not the case. We need to accept ourselves regardless of where we are at in life. We all are uniquely and wonderfully made by our Creator, for sure. And we all have different talents. We all have different things we're good at, things we're not good at. And we need to love ourselves and other people for who they are. Not what they look like, obviously, but for who they are and the impact they have in our lives, particularly when they're positive. I think that's important. But what I had to learn was, in order to love myself, I had to have the determination that I deserved to get better if it was possible. I deserved to feel better if it was possible. If I found a way to have a better diet, to lose a bit of extra weight, to reduce my pain and my inflammation, and improve quality of life, that was good. In fact, I was worthy of that. And I don't know if this is the same way for you guys, but I felt for so long that sort of victim mentality, which was, yes, I have this multitude of autoimmune and other conditions, which all seem to cascade one to the other, all seem to be rooted in high levels of chronic inflammation, which kept the pain going, which kept the fibromyalgia going, and the Raynaud's and the hypothyroidism. It affected everything. So the high amount of inflammation from my highly processed and inflammatory diet caused a whole bunch of other things to happen and stick around. And that was the best I could hope for. That was what I deserved. It must be God's will, or it must be, that's it. That's my life. That's what's supposed to happen. And I just need to be grateful, love my life regardless, and move on. And to a certain extent, yes, that was true. I still had many things to be thankful for and grateful for. A loving husband, 2 wonderful boys, a place to live, at the time, a job, etc. All kinds of blessings. But I didn't understand that loving myself meant going, time out. Why do I have to put up with this? Why? Why do I have to accept it? Why do I have to act as though, well, that's just my life and I can't do anything about it, so I guess I'll accept it and just love my life in spite of everything, without looking for more, without trying for more? If that makes sense. Yes, we need to be thankful in every circumstance, regardless. I do agree and I do believe that. However, there's nothing wrong with trying to find a way out of our circumstances. There's nothing wrong with trying to see if maybe there's a different solution. Just, if you were to lose your job, you still need to be thankful, but that doesn't mean you don't go out and try to find another job, right? If you're having issues with your spouse, or let's say your children, well, you still love them, I would hope, but just because you're having issues, so what? You just accept that there are issues and that's normal. You don't try to talk things out, maybe look at getting some sort of therapy groups. You know what I mean? Like, so loving yourself isn't just saying, okay, I have these conditions. Now what? Give me the medication. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well. I learned that if I really wanted to have proper love for myself, that I had to be willing to see, but is there an alternative? Do I have to stay on these medications that most days feel like they don't really work? Do I have to just simply accept that I'm feeling all these things and struggling in this way? No. And actually, there might be a better way to get there. Now, I had no idea until June of 2020 that was following a non-inflammatory carnivore diet was going to be the key for me. I didn't know that until that point. So all of my injuries, all my issues physically happened starting in 2014, which I know for those of you who have seen the videos, you'll know my story. If you don't, I suffered a disc injury in March of 2014. And they determined that a disc had prolapsed in my lower back. Doing laundry, nothing exciting, no crazy stunts or wild adventures, riding dirt bikes or flying off a ski jump or anything like that. Nope, laundry, which would then eventually lead to fibromyalgia. They thought fibromyalgia, which then triggered Raynaud's, which then set off hypothyroidism. Because all those things sort of work in conjunction with each other. They all sort of seem to happen together for most people. When they get them, they happen together. Okay. Took me until 2020, so 6 years before I realized that actually all of those things were a result of being highly inflamed, chronically inflamed from the highly processed and inflammatory diet I had always eaten. Okay, both processed and natural carbohydrates, fruits, veg, and everything in between. Very, very little proteins, and certainly no good, healthy, saturated fats at the time. But I didn't know that. Okay, so I just had the understanding for such a long time that, well, I've hurt myself. I guess I'm just going to be always in pain. Oh, well, this pain is now I've developed this. I guess I'm stuck with this now forever. Well, this therapy didn't work. Neither did that one. Neither did that one. Neither, for 3 or 4 different therapies they tried that didn't help. So I just kind of gave up and said, well, I guess that's it. I guess I'm just stuck with constantly living with chronic pain and inflammation and everything else. And I just started having the attitude of I guess I'm always going to be anxious. I'm always going to feel depressed. I'm always going to struggle with bulimia. That's just me. That's just me now. This is my new reality. Because I thought that's what it meant to love myself, to say, I love myself. I'm dealing with this now. And this is now me forever. And it took me until 2020 to go, actually, yes, this is me now, but I'm willing to try something completely radical, crazy even, and see if it helps. And as it turned out, this radical elimination diet that took out all the plants and left me with um, beef, butter, bacon, eggs, sausage, lamb, and occasional poultry was the key. And not only did I see my inflammation come down and my, soreness come down in my wrists, for example, my arthritis started to get better. My brain fog started to lift and disappeared because I realized that I don't have to just simply sit back and accept whatever the standard medical advice had been up to that point. Not that it was necessarily completely wrong or unhelpful, but at 6 years in, with all these different health issues and not feeling any better and feeling constantly worse, and there was nothing else they could give me, and none of the other alternative therapies had worked, I had to love myself enough to say, I don't want this anymore. What if there's a way for me to feel better that isn't medication? What if food is a factor? What if by somehow finding the right diet, I can lose weight? Then I won't feel so depressed. Then I won't be anxious. Then I won't have such a bulimic mentality. Maybe I'll even start to feel a bit better and I'll have less bloating and my IBS will come down. All these things. That was just a thought. And of course, as you guys might have heard in some of my other videos, basically, I remembered hearing about keto because my sister-in-law did it. I knew she had done it way back in 2015 for her psoriasis and arthritis, and she had loads of success. So I thought, oh, let me look up the keto diet or keto on YouTube, and found all sorts of videos. Found Dr. Ken Berry, watched his videos, learned everything I could, and then I started to follow it. And I tell you what, it's not as though when I first ate some eggs with bacon that I magically all of a sudden had no pain whatsoever, because I did. But it was a moment where I thought, wow, this is something my body's been craving. This is proper nutrition. This is nourishment. I don't feel like I'm starving myself constantly. And I only found it because I was willing to try something different, like radically different. And keto, after a couple of weeks, very quickly led me to carnivore, the most non-inflammatory diet on the planet. Because inflammation generally comes from only plant sources. That's where the most inflammation comes from. That's where the most issues with food and irritability comes from, is from plant sources of food. Because they have phytonutrients, because they have anti-nutrients, because they have all sorts of plant toxins, because they have oxalates. Now, let me just say, I know there are some people out there who seem to be able to eat small amounts of plants or even large amounts, and so far, they don't seem to have any issues with it. And if it works for them, it's not for me to decide whether they should eat them or not. However, I would say this. I love my plants, but they do not love me back. And so when I was willing to get rid of them all, the massive improvement and healing I found in my life, in my gut, in my skin, in my hormones, in my mood. Obviously, I lost a lot of weight. I lost 100 pounds in 6 months with essentially no effort, because I got rid of all the inflammatory foods, which for me was plants. That's it, plants. Sauces and seasonings and all those things are made based from plants. Seed oils come from plants, okay? You see where I'm going with this. Now, some people may find that they can tolerate some level of plants in small dosages. That's fine. That's their choice. It's not for me to choose for them. But for me to find real healing, I had to cut all of that out. In many ways, like Jordan Peterson and Michaela Peterson had to do. And if you can tolerate some plants and you like them and they don't seem to be causing you any issues, go ahead. Let me say this though. All of these plants that mainline or mainstream nutrition promotes as magical and healing and healthy. So, like the seeds, the nuts, the legumes, the pulses. Let me ask this. Okay. The grains and the cereals. Let me ask this. Okay. Have you ever heard of anybody, eating any of those things and having zero reaction? Doesn't have to be massive. I'm not talking about, they have an IBS flare up or they have, inflammatory bowel disease and it makes it worse. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about anybody who eats any of those types of plants almost immediately has some degree of gas and bloated. Why? Because these plants are very, very hard to break down in the digestive process, and therefore they ferment in the gut. And when that happens, you get gas building up. So I don't think there's a single person on this planet ever who has eaten a bean burrito and not needed to fart after. Just saying. Okay. So they may be willing to live with that. And outside of that, maybe they don't have any other problems with those plants. In which case, feel free. They can carry on if they like. But I know for me personally, not a good plan. Okay. But I had to be willing to go, you know what? Actually, I don't do well with those things. Actually, I want to just have eggs and bacon. Actually, to my husband, babe, I'll make, the chicken with the cream sauce for you guys, but I'm just going to have some ground beef. I don't like the cream sauce. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't do well with this or that. It's loving myself enough to say, I know the things that I don't handle well or that cause me these days, 3.5 years into carnivore, cause me immediate reactions to stay away from. But I had to learn that it was okay to say no to foods, to question if they were actually helpful to me, to learn what things were healing for me. And again, like I've said, just earlier, but in general, things like ground beef, occasionally steaks, because I do really well with a higher fat carnivore, maybe because I'm in my 50s and going through the change. So my hormones are kind of, needing more support these days with higher fat. I'm not sure. That's my guess. But I just overall do well with higher fat carnivore. So loads of ground beef and some bacon and sausages sometimes and lots of eggs, lots of butter. And occasionally I'll have some chicken breast, might have chicken breast, might have bacon. Sometimes, like I said, sausages, but primarily what I eat is ground beef, eggs, and butter, and bacon when I'm craving it. Okay. And I had to be willing to look at myself and say, actually, I love myself enough to ask for, or to say to my husband, actually, I need these in the weekly shop. You guys eat whatever you want. That's your choice. This is what I'm eating. And I'm sticking to it. No, thank you. I don't want any of your dessert because I don't. Just loving myself enough to say, I deserve to feel better. I deserve to try and see if I can heal it all and not just accept that where I'm at is where I'm going to have to be stuck forever. And that was true in not just with physical healing, but with emotional healing as well, emotional mental health healing. And to the point where I felt as though I couldn't handle anything without anxiety. Now I can manage it. I would often feel depressed if I thought, I'm not losing weight fast enough, or I'm not having these amazing stories like other people in the carnivore space. So what? Didn't matter. Every improvement was an improvement. And I guess that's really what I wanted to share as well. And it's hard. It is hard, when we are struggling with anxiety and depression or an eating disorder. It's really hard to feel that we are worthy of anything. Never mind, we are worthy of health. If I may offer this slight suggestion or tip, I had to stop looking at carnivore as a weight loss plan, but I had to look at it as a non-inflammatory healing way of eating, that I was hoping to get better health from it. I was hoping to improve my mental state, to improve my depression, reduce my anxiety, overcome and be able to be in recovery from bulimia, on top of improving my physical mobility and just overall general health. And that's what I got. Now, I got as a bonus, I lost 100 pounds, but I had to make my focus about all the other health issues and to look at myself and say, I'm worthy of this. I love myself enough that I'm going to try to get better. I'm going to try to be healthier, not thinner. That was just a side bonus. Let me try to get healthier and heal physically and mentally. And that is absolutely what I was able to get through the carnivore diet. Some people are able to do that with just keto and include and keep in their diet and include some non-starchy vegetables, small portions, but as I said, I cannot do any plants of any kind. They're completely gone out of my diet. 100%. They have to be, because I cannot tolerate them at all. That's me. That's just me. You have to figure out what works for you, obviously. But learning to love myself enough to say I deserve to try to get health in my life, that was important. That was really key. And then taking those steps to change the diet, improve it, get it to be one that was nutritious and fulfilling and not leaving me hungry constantly every couple of hours. That was another part of it, but you have to love yourself enough to say that you deserve health if that's what you want. So I hope that this is encouraging. I hope this is helpful, you guys. Thank you all again for always watching my videos, for all of your comments, for all of your incredible support. Just wanted to remind you guys that my coaching website is up, www.healingfoodscoach.com. It's going through a few cosmetic upgrades. However, the functionality is all there. So you can book coaching appointments with me. You can also contact me by email on the site. And I'm currently offering an introductory special where the initial assessment and coaching session, which is a 2-hour block, would normally be 45 pounds, which is about $50 US. I have now reduced it to 30 pounds, 30 British pounds, which is about $35 US. So if you guys are looking for some more one-to-one consultation or coaching support, I really, really hope that you will go check out my website and sign up. I would love to hear from you. If you're not quite there yet, that's okay. I will continue to make content for YouTube because that's where I started, and I love you guys and I appreciate all your support. So I will continue to have content for you. But again, as I say, if you want some very tailored one-to-one coaching advice and support, please go check me out on my coaching website, www.healingfoodscoach.com. You can email me from the website, Megan@healingfoodscoach.com. And I would love if you guys would sign up. Obviously, it would be great if you guys wanted to sign up for the initial session. As I said, I've reduced the rate from 45 pounds to 30 pounds for the 2-hour block. All the prices are there, obviously, as well. Please feel free to check it out. In the meantime, I hope this video is encouraging. Please share it with whoever you feel might benefit, that it may encourage, and I will continue to provide you guys with some more and more content as time goes by. I will always keep a little bit of it free for you on YouTube. I know that not everybody wants to go the one-on-one coaching route right away. And so I will continue to put stuff out for free on YouTube because that's how much I love you guys. So that is it. Thank you for your support, for watching this all the way to the end, which I'm assuming you did. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.